Harshita, you can start the program. Harshita?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Please proceed.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Harshita, you are audible. You can proceed.
Okay. I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning to all of you,
Harshita.
friends. And
Good morning, sir. Our student will start the program and then. Hello, sir.
Hello,
Our student will start the program and then you can come.
Okay.
Okay, Harshita, please start.
Okay.
Yes, sir. With your kind permission, sir, I request to start today's function. Good morning, everyone. I, Harshita Purvar, student of BBA, final year, Department of Management, Dada Ramchand, Bakhru, Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, extend my warm welcome and gratitude to our eminent chief guest, Honorable Shri V. Subramanian, sir. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. We are fortunate to have you here. I sincerely welcome our Noble Management Committee members, Honorable Shri Harish Bakhru, sir, President, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, Honorable Dr. Vicky Rukhwani, sir, Chairman, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, Honorable Dr. Ishwar Keswani, sir, General Secretary, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to stimulators of the event, our Principal, Dr. Kasbekar, sir, our Vice Principal, Dr. Satish Tewani, sir, and Dr. Anand, Thadani, sir. I am delighted to welcome our Head of Department, Mr. Pranay, Wankhede, sir, and our respective faculty members, Dr. Tripti Sakhre, ma'am, Dr. Suman Keswani, ma'am, Mr. Deepak Gihani, sir, and Ms. Poorvi Tiwari, ma'am. All the members present here are welcomed on the enlightening webinar on guest lecture on Introduction, Banking, Basics, Role of Banks in Society and Evolution of Banks. We are now in a stage to learn new things, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam says, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. These words inspire us to learn continuously and gain knowledge continuously. I kindly request our principal, sir, to say a few words about it.
Principal sir join Harshita, he'll be joining us in a couple of minutes, so you can proceed.
Okay, sir. So now I request our Vice Principal, Dr. Satish Tewani, sir, to say a few words.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
आज के इस कार्यक्रम में वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग। आज के इस कार्यक्रम में श्री HR बाखरू जी, प्रेसिडेंट सिंधी हिंदी विद्या समिति, डॉक्टर विंकी रुखवानी जी, चेयरमैन सिंधी हिंदी विद्या समिति, डॉक्टर IP केसवानी सर, जनरल सेक्रेटरी सिंधी हिंदी विद्या समिति, हमारे कॉलेज के प्रिंसिपल सर डॉक्टर SV कसबेकर सर, थदानी सर, एंड आज के मुख्य वक्ता के रूप में आए हुए श्री सुब्रमण्यम जी, रिटायर्ड पंजाब नेशनल बैंक, वहां के आप मैनेजर हैं। बहुत खुशी हुई सर आपसे मिलके। आपका अभी जो वक्ता के रूप में आप आए हुए हैं सर, तो उसके बारे में जो आप बच्चों को ज्ञान देने वाले, उससे मुझे पक्का विश्वास है कि बहुत फायदा होने वाला है, क्योंकि आपने अपने पूरे लाइफ में जो बैंक के साथ में आप इतने साल रहे, उसका एक्सपीरियंस श्योरली हमारे बच्चों को मिलेगा और उसका लाभ भी होगा। जो रोल ऑफ बैंकिंग है, टर्म ऑफ लोन जैसे कभी कभी सेविंग अकाउंट्स रहते हैं, फिक्स डिपॉजिट अकाउंट्स रहते हैं, इवन करंट अकाउंट्स रहते हैं, हम तो ऊपर से अपन नॉलेज देते हैं, परंतु जो प्रैक्टिकली जो नॉलेज रहता है कि किस प्रकार से यह अकाउंट्स ओपन किए जाते हैं, लोन किस हिसाब से दिया जाता है और किस प्रकार से आप बच्चों को या जो भी लोन होल्डर्स रहते हैं उनको आप किस प्रकार से लोन देते हैं और उसमें क्या क्या कंडीशंस रहती हैं, तो यह आप प्रैक्टिकली आप बताएंगे। हम तो सिर्फ थॉरली बताते हैं कि यह इस प्रकार से बैंक ओवरड्राफ्ट रहता है, उसके लिए अपने को पहले एक CC फॉर्म भरना पड़ता है, अप्लाई करना पड़ता है, डायरेक्टर्स की अपने को एप्लीकेशन देनी पड़ती है, तो डायरेक्टर्स जब वह चाहते हैं तो उसके बाद ही ये लोन वगैरह पास होता है, बैंक ओडी फैसिलिटी मिलती है। तो ये सब हम क्या है बच्चों को थॉरली बताते हैं। और ये जो CC लिमिट रहती है वह केवल करंट अकाउंट पे मिलता है, और जो लोन्स रहते हैं, टर्म लोन रहता है, एक डेवलपमेंट लोन रहता है, फिर उसका हाउसिंग लोन रहते हैं, बहुत सारे लोन्स जो कि एक सोसाइटी को कोप अप करने के लिए ये सब लोन की फैसिलिटीज जो
हेलो शिवानी सर, आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
थोड़ा म्यूट हो गया लगता है।
शिवानी सर,
सर अनम्यूट करिए सर, तेवानी सर।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
जी
हाँ जी, हो गया
जी जी, अभी हो गया, शुरू हो गया।
वो कुछ लाइन का प्रॉब्लम आ गया।
ओके।
तो ऐसी बहुत सारी जो फैसिलिटीज हैं, तो हम तो थारोली सर बताते हैं, परंतु मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि जब आपका यह सेशंस कंप्लीट हो जाएगा सेशन, उसके बाद में श्योरली हमारे बच्चों को बहुत सारा प्रॉफिट होगा और वह बहुत समझेंगे कि किस प्रकार से बैंक में जाना और किस प्रकार से फैसिलिटीज को अवेल करना। यह नेचुरली हमारे सोसाइटी को भी लाभ होगा और हमारे बच्चों को भी। और मैं ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि हम सब इंटरेस्टेड हैं कि सुब्रमण्यम साहब कुछ हमको इस बारे में गाइड करें। थैंक यू सो मच सर। थैंक यू टू ऑर्गेनाइजर्स। थैंक यू सर।
Now, I request Suraj to show some light on today's charming personality, our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri V. Subramanian sir.
Yes. Sir, I am audible?
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Harshita. A very good morning to one and all present here. My name is Suraj Brijwani and I am from the class BBA first year. I am honored to introduce such a knowledgeable personality, Shri V. Subramanian sir. Before I take the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, please allow me to publicly express my gratitude towards Shri V. Subramanian sir for giving his precious time to us from his busy schedule. Sir completed his BSc in chemistry from the University of Madras. He completed his MBA in banking and finance, IIBS, CAIIB from Mumbai and IGNOU from New Delhi. In banking sector, Sir was the chief manager at Punjab National Bank for 36 years up to 31st December 2013. And that's only, Sir worked as a senior faculty member for 8 years and as a branch head for 14 years. During his years, when he was the branch head, he was appointed as a chief judge at various centers in Tamil Nadu. Sir also undertook the development of 16 villages under NABARD sponsor and village Vikas Vahini for rural branches in Maharashtra. He was also in charge for the stress asset management for 3 years. He had done regional, zonal control areas, other areas for 5 years. Sir also worked as a professor at Loyola College, Chennai in his post-retirement. It is a is here to provide knowledge regarding. Sir will also touch banking in our society and evolution of the bank. Without wasting a single moment, I would like to welcome Shri V. Subramanian subject.
Hello. Hello, friends. My dear colleagues in the faculty and respected Sindhu Mahavidyalaya principal and all the administrative staff and faculty members and the coordinators for this seminar, and my dear students of the Mahavidyalaya who are very eager to listen to me on this important topic of basic banking, how the role of banking is important in the society, and thirdly, what are the evolutions that has taken place in the banking sector. So without taking much time, we will first proceed with what do we understand by basic banking. So banking is a profitable institution. So what we do in the bank, we take the deposits from the public and then we lend that money to the public. Whatever we lend, on that we earn the interest. Whatever we keep the deposit, on that we pay the interest. Whatever the difference is there, that we take as our profit. That amount not only meeting our expenses and the other salary, other requirements of the bank, we send it in the form of dividend to the shareholders of the bank. So this is the basic banking. So we take the money from public and then we give the loans. In the process, we make the profit. This is what is called the basic banking. So what is the interest? There are three types of interest. One is that MCLR, marginal cost of lending rate. That is the MCLR rate. Another rate is repo rate, which is the rate at which the bank gets the money from the Reserve Bank of India. And then the third rate is the base rate, the rate at which the bank is able to lend that money to the customers. As you people are knowing very well, when you go to the bank, you will be charged a rate of interest depending upon under what category you are falling. If you are a consumer, the rate of interest is different. If you are a trader, a higher rate of interest will be charged. And if you are a businessman, a higher rate of interest will be charged. That's how the banking operates. Now, when we talk about the banking, I would like to explain what is the difference between inflation and interest. I request Poorvi to just show the slide on the inflation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, you can have a look how the inflation is operating. If you see that, you find out in 2019, 1 kilo of mangoes we purchased for 100 rupees. In 2020, 1 kilo of mango you are purchasing for 110 rupees. The difference between both the years is 10 rupees. The 10 rupees is the inflation. If 10 rupees is the inflation, you are, whatever money you have got with you, if the money is kept at your home and without putting in the bank, then you are in loss. If you go through the screen little below, you will find that there are two scenarios. Scenario number one is that where you are in a position to get 4 rupees as a 4% is your rate of inflation, whereas the rate of return in the form of interest from the bank you are getting is 6%. So the difference is there is a 2%, you are positive. That means when you keep the money with the bank, you are getting an income that takes care of your inflation. You come to the scenario number 2, where you don't keep the money with the bank, the money is at your home, whereas the prices have gone up and the 4% is the inflation and the return is negative. Now, what is the situation? First level is positive, you are able to meet out your requirement. In the second level, you are going on incurring the losses. Whatever money you are having, that is depreciating. So why it is important to take care of your income and to take care of your future, you have to keep the money in the bank. When you keep the money in the bank, it gives you a higher rate of return, which is taking care of your inflation to some extent. Now, when you come to the real situation in a banking condition, what happens? There are two methods of interest the banks are applying. Where you have to put your money, whether you have to put your money in a simple interest or compound interest, you should be in a position to understand. If the deposit is of simple interest, you find that you see the simple interest of 10 rupees, 5% is a simple interest rate, and 100 rupees is your amount in the saving account. At the end of 5 years, you are getting only 125 rupees. That means you are getting only 25 rupees as an income. If you, on the other hand, if you keep the funds in a compound interest earning deposit, you are getting same 5%, but you are getting 127.63 paise after 5 years time. So comparatively, you are getting a higher income in a recurring deposit, so which is preferable. So you go to the next level, how the wealth can be maximized. The best and the easiest way of improving your wealth is getting into a recurring deposit where you can keep the money in slow and steady manner on a month-to-month basis so that it will be earning a regular compounding interest. Now you see the situation where you are putting 5,000 rupees per month as a early bird. If people are in the age group of 20, if you are able to keep this money for 32 years without any risk in a bank at a rate of 9%, the present rate of interest is lower, it is not 9%, around 7-8% only you are getting nowadays. If it is 9%, in 32 years, this 5,000 rupees per month is getting you 1 crore worth of money. So the young age, it is the appropriate age at which the saving is to be inculcated. So once you inculcate, you will be surely in a position to keep the money aside and you will be able to maximize your wealth. This is one scenario where you will be in a position to improve your wealth and improve income level. Now come to the next situation where there are attractions in the market where you will be finding the public are offering you a higher rate of interest than what the rate of interest the banks are supposed to give you. You should not get attracted by those advertisements. So that's why the keeping on RBI is informing the public, take care. Please cautious. Don't get lured by these attractive interest rates, which are always risky. Otherwise, your money will be lost. The companies may get closed. So you have to be careful. So this is what we call it as the Reserve Bank's caution again and again coming in different advertisement forms. The people are always should be aware of all these things. Now, coming to the next point, which is the safety. Safety of the funds are important. For that, what the RBI is doing, the RBI has already kept a subsidiary in the name of Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. This Deposit Insurance Corporation is insuring the deposits of the general public in their accounts, and this is available across all banks. Now here what happens, we'll go to that. Why the safety is important? In case if you are getting a higher rate of interest offer from some institution which is not a bank, the bank suffix should be there in the name of the institution which is offering you the interest. And if there is no bank, if it is some society, your money is at risk. This is what I wanted to say. Now coming to the second aspect of our banking, which is the role of banks in the society. Now just have a look at the slide which is shown to you. There are 9 basic motives which propel the human being, and important things as we always call roti, kapda, makan, which is in Hindi, that is the food, clothes and shelter, which is the basic need which a human being has to always ensure it is available and it is ensured. Now next level, the person is always interested in knowing he has been taken care, he has a family and he is having a certain faiths that he is following. Now third level, you will be in a position to find out the investment, savings, mechanical appliances. Now when you go below the grid, Poorvi, can you please go down? When you go below the grid, you will be in a position to find out the topmost row, which is related to your instinct, which is the most essential thing. At the second level, middle level, it is a emotion based, and then the third one is a reason based. Here, a person wanted to actuate himself in the Maslow's theory of motivation. He wanted to be recognized in the society. He wanted to be there in the society as a renowned person. He wanted to do something for the society. So this is the third level where a person is keen in ensuring that he invests the money in certain assets which recognizes him, and his family also gets the benefit of that. So he will be either going in for investment in the form of buying a two-wheeler or buying a car or buying a house. So here the investment parts play an important role. The second level is the savings part. Why the saving is important? It's not only the assets which you are having today, but tomorrow, at the time of emergency, you should be in a position to get the income. So you have to save the money for your future. And the third level is that where you will be interested in buying certain advantageous mechanical appliances. If you are in a family, you would like to have more and more white goods, more and more facilities in the form of various mechanical devices. So this is what is the most essential thing which the human being is always attracted to and always inclined and motivated to save the money, invest the money, and then he will be in a position to enjoy the life in a best or fruitful manner. So now when you talk about these basic needs, which is the good place to save? A good place to save is one, a bank. The bank which is recognized and approved by Reserve Bank of India and which takes care of your funds is the one which can take care of your banks, your investment part, your loan part, everything. Now, when we talk about the bank's role in the society, the economics says, Keynesian theory, all of you must be knowing about in your commerce background, is a multiplier. What is a money multiplier? Now we see the screen where I have quoted an example. There is a reserve ratio. The Reserve Bank of India fixes one ratio called reserve ratio. This is the amount, minimum amount the bank has to keep with them in the form of liquids, cash, or gold, or with the Reserve Bank of India. If you take it as 10% as a rate at which the money is to be kept. Now we find the example, there is this one, that amount money multiplier is 1 rupee divided by the reserve ratio. The cash reserve ratio is 10. When 1 divided by 0.1, the money is multiplier is equal to 10. What does it mean? Now when you go through the example, if the bank you are able to deposit 50 rupees as a deposit. Then if the 10% is to be kept by the bank with them in the form of reserve with either Reserve Bank of India or with them, the remaining 45 rupees the bank lends to another person who is in need of the money. That person who has taken this 45 rupees from the bank, he will go to another bank and there he puts this 45 rupees, and then in that bank they keep again 10% in the form of reserve money. Remaining amount they again lend it to third person in the form of 40 rupees 50 paise. This cycle continues. This way, a money of rupees 50 which was deposited turns into different cycles. Then 45 multiplied by 10 becomes 450 rupees. This is what is called the money multiplication, the money supply, which is provided to the general public. This way, the public in general able to make use of the bank money for buying their own requirements, essentials, and also meeting their consumption needs. This is an important role the bank plays so that the society is benefited and the society grows. Now, we'll go to the screen later. Now we come to the bank. When they are getting these funds, they are not only giving this money to the general public in the form of loans, but they are also investing it in the government securities, which the government mandates the banks to invest. Then the bank also facilitates various developmental activities in the form of investment in bonds and securities. Now, what is the problem? There are authorized methods through which the money can be taken from the banks. The bank has prescribed the procedure. you can withdraw your money in the form of cash. You can call at the branch and take a check or take a withdrawal slip and withdraw the money. Or secondly, you can go to any of the banks, other service places like ATMs or other places where you can draw the cash. In other banks' ATMs, you can go and draw the cash. This is second method. Third method, they can, instead of taking the cash, they can transfer the funds from their account to another customers, other business entities, or other business transaction which can be settled through the bank's accounts. Now, this type of settlements normally takes place through a digital mode. Now, this digital mode is the one which we should be always careful, and we should be always be mindful of our passwords, PIN, etc. Now, this is the recognized method. The transfer of funds in the recognized method is always through this type of, we just have a look into the screen, the retail banking services, where you will be getting the online banking. In the online banking, either you can make use of swiping of your debit cards or credit cards, and then you can go into any point of sale where in a supermarket or any business center where the swiping machine is there, we can make the payment. Or thirdly, you can also do the net banking. If you have got the bank's permission with the customer ID as well as your password and as well as transaction authority, you can very well carry out the transaction on an online and net banking, and then you can make use of that. And then latest is the mobile apps. The mobile apps are providing you with the wallets. From the wallets, you can make use of the funds for making various payments in the form of electricity bill, water bills, as well as telephone bills. In many forms, you can make use of it. In certain cities, even the metro cards are also being paid through this type of wallets. Now, what is the important thing which we must take care is that it has got certain risk. And what are all the risks associated with this, that we will be discussing after the next slide. In the next screen, we will be in a position to see what are the risks we will be facing in this type of activity. Now, we go to the previous slide screen, where the previous screen, there are two terminologies mentioned. Just have a look. The previous screen, there are two terminologies. One is Hawala. What is Hawala? Hawala is a type of a transaction which is not authorized by Reserve Bank of India. What is happening? Some people, on account of the attractiveness of the income, attractiveness of non-disclosing the identity of the person carrying out the transactions, the people transfer the funds through Hawala networks. Here one person gets a particular code or the number which he conveys to the another person who is a counter network person in another place. That person transfers the money to him. This is not authorized. Any type of lure, any type of attraction you get in this particular Hawala transaction, you should be cautious. It is a criminal offense, and it is the Reserve Bank of India will take immediate steps to proceed against. Now, next one is another important one, which is not a part of our banking system in India, is the Bitcoins. Now, the Bitcoins is a digital currency. What is happening in this digital currency? The two persons who are connected with each other on account of either business transactions or other service transactions, they keep an account which is common to both of them and which is also available in public domain, through which they are able to transfer the funds in the form of Bitcoins, which is not recognized. Now, this Bitcoins also facilitated in the form of exchange of currencies. Between two currencies, they will be in a position to swap the account in the Bitcoins and get the currencies. And also services and products, which is there in the Western countries, which is not yet approved in India by the Reserve Bank of India. We should be aware about that. Now we come to the society's benefit. We have already discussed how the society is benefited. Then how in a retail banking, online banking, what are all the precautions we should take, that we will discuss in the next slide. Now, see, here you will be in a position to see there are different modes of transaction that are being carried out. One is that deposits and loans, which I have already discussed. Then ATM. With regard to ATM, you will be provided with one PIN. This PIN should not be disclosed or should not be handed over to anybody. If anybody make use of this PIN and carry out a transaction, the loss will be yours. The bank has made it very clear, and the Reserve Bank also made it very clear. If anybody shares that PIN number or the security password with anybody else, and in case there is a loss arising out of that, then the loss is the customer's loss. Same is the case with regard to the credit card and debit card. Now, in case of a credit card and debit card, see, there are three fundamental bases on which these online transactions or online instruments are being carried out. One is that what you have, what you know, okay, what you get. So what you have is the one which is your debit card or credit card that identifies you are the bona fide person to make use of it. Second thing, what you know, the bank and yourself only know one thing, that is the password which should be used or the PIN number. So this is, when these two are tallied, now there is a 3D security which the Reserve Bank of India has introduced, there where the high level transactions are there, you get a OTP in your mobile. You should have a registered mobile with the bank. On your registered mobile, you will get a OTP. That the OTP will give you a number. So what you know as a third one, the OTP put into the transaction, then only the transaction will be carried out. Now, when we talk about the online or net banking transaction, when you go to the bank will facilitate you to first create your customer ID, and then that ID as well as there will be two passwords which will be mandatory for you. The password number one is for the purpose of accessing, for logging into the banking website. So that is what login password. Then once the login password is there, you will be having only read-only facility. You can only see what are all happening, what are all the transactions that have taken place in your account. Then the second password is called transaction password. Then this transaction password is the one which should also be kept as a secret and confidential. Only when you carry out the transaction and then put this password, the transaction will be carried out. And if the amount involved is of only between your own personal accounts, you have two accounts in one bank, and between the two accounts you wanted to transfer the funds, and these two may be sufficient. But when you are transacting a higher amount or transferring the funds to one bank to another bank, you will be asked to provide the third code number, that is the OTP, one-time password which you will be getting in your mobiles, that you should apply. Then only your machines will operate, as well as you will be in a position to transact the business. When you come to the POS, now the problem with the POS is that previously you have to what you have is your credit card or debit card. Secondly, what you know your PIN number, you apply your PIN number, then you transact in a supermarket or a big bazaar or any place, then you carry out the transaction. Third level is that you will be getting the OTP also, depending upon the merchant's reputation in the market and their approval by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, in many situations, what is happening in the present day, the cards are also being issued as contactless cards. So in case of a POS machine, when you use a contactless card, your card need not be swiped. Even if the card is just taken nearby to the POS machine, the machine automatically reads the card and then the transaction is being approved. In some places, this type of facility also may lead to a risk, because without carrying out the transaction, if any of your friend or anybody who is interested in doing some fraudulent transaction is having access to your card without the password, without putting the card into the machine, they will be in a position to carry out the transactions. Therefore, in case of contactless cards, you should be doubly careful so that you don't pass on the card to anybody or don't take the card nearby to the machine without the proper knowledge about what are the transactions that is being carried out. Now coming to the mobile apps. Now this mobile apps is a one where you will be having a mobile wallet. The mobile wallet, you can have the cash. This wallet enables you to transact for petty payments and then you can make the payment. Now, with regard to this mobile apps, you should be also careful that app will take from you the card details. Card details means your credit card or debit card, whatever the card you are having, the card number will be stored and then your password will also be stored. Then the transaction will be such, in case if you don't have money in your wallet, if you carry out a transaction, if the wallet is provided with the facility of authority from you on an automatic basis, the wallet will draw the money from your bank account and then it will pass it on to the beneficiary in the transaction. Now here, if you have given an automatic authority in the wallet, your money is at risk. So you should be doubly careful when you operate on mobile app, what type of account you are linking with. If this is a very big account where the balance outstanding is substantial, don't link the substantial outstanding deposit account with the wallet. If you have a small account with a minimum balance, if you want to link, you link. Or else you link with your debit card or credit card. Debit card will permit the transaction only to the extent of the money which is available. Or in case of a credit card also, after certain limits, the bank will ask you to provide the OTP which is sent to your registered mobile, then only the transaction will take place. So be careful with regard to the mobile apps, which are always risky, which you should be very careful in handling with that. The next slide will be in a position to find on an advertisement the Reserve Bank of India has come out with. Poorvi, can you please shift it to the next slide? So this advertisement many of you must have already seen. Poorvi, can you just on it just to see? It is embedded video is there. Click. Just to play. Hello. So you could see in this video, if this audio was not available, many of you must have seen it in the various TV programs. So what that girl is insisting.
Actually, sir, we are trying.
Huh?
I'll be taking your 1 minute.
Okay.
We're trying to connect it with an audio.
Okay.
So we are going to start the
previous one.
Sir, there are some technical errors.
No
I
issue,
don't
no
think
issue.
so that we'll be able to start it.
No problem, no problem.
Okay.
It's just I'll explain.
Sorry, sir.
See, to my participants, I would like to explain this particular one. That girl is insisting that she will put the PIN number. She doesn't share that with any of those friends which are very close, which are next to her. This is one advertisement which the Reserve Bank repeatedly showing it. Now, those of you who have been very familiar with the T20, all of you must have seen the T20 meet between. You will find the ad coming from Reserve Bank of India. जानकार रहिए वहां पे क्या कहता है आप कितने भी ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट रेट कोई देता है वैसा हो सकता है क्या एक ओवर में 50 रन हो सकता है क्या that sort of Mr. Yadav is putting just before you, so please don't be misguided by the thing which the people are claiming as they are able to give you high rate of interest. Third aspect is that you are also seeing the important program which is called Kaun Banega Crorepati. There also the anchor is always telling that be careful about the digital banking. So why this is being communicated again and again by Reserve Bank of India? The banking has transformed from a brick and mortar to a digital side. Now the digital banking has taken a very predominant role, and the people are not aware about the risks and the security lapses which are taking place at the customer side. The banks are foolproof, but many times customers are not aware about the implications and the repercussions. They are all taken to high risk areas and they are losing heavily. So these are all the things which the Reserve Bank continuously making us to be always cautious. Now, the third area of today's discussion, having done the first two things, first we have discussed about the basic banking. Secondly, what is the role of the bank in the society? From the society angle, the multiplier is the main important function which the banks are doing it. I am not going into the minute details because how to get a car loan, how to get an education loan, how to come to a bank and take the fixed deposit. All these things are minute things which in detail you can come to know at a later date, or you can, when you are carrying out the transactions, you will be in a position to know. The overall, the banking's role in the society is that they have to safeguard the money of the public. Secondly, they have to invest the money in such a way that the risks are minimized. And thirdly, they should be in a position to give you a sufficient rate of interest which takes care of your inflation. Now come to the third area, which is about the evaluation in the banks. What has happened? Previously, the banks were either nationalized or the government banks till 1990. 1990, when the LPG started, liberalization, globalization started in India, then the banks have been liberalized and the banks have been asked to take the privatization as a motto, and then the bank shares have been invested by the general public. So the shareholding pattern of the banks have changed in the recent years, and then the bank's ownership has shifted from government to the private and then the public in general. This is one scenario. The second scenario is that the society is developing. The society is always getting educated and the society is well versed with the technology and the technology based operations, that the banks have to start into a online transaction mode, and then the brick and mortar style has to be changed to a digital mode. So these two are the main transformations which has taken place in the bank. So when you talk about the shareholding pattern, originally nationalized banks used to have a very high stake of government shareholding. In due course, many banks have shed some portion of their shares to the general public, and the public are also having a shareholding, and the banks are answerable to general public and as well as to government. As far as State Bank of India is concerned, State Bank of India's shareholding pattern is not that much highly significant with regard to the government. Government is having a very small percentage of only 9 to 10%, whereas the remaining amount are held by the general public. Now, when we talk about the shareholding pattern of the Reserve Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India is originally started as a private bank, and in due course, it has become a government bank, and it is a bankers bank. What the Reserve Bank of India is doing, it is taking care of the public interest from the bank's security point of view. So therefore, the Reserve Bank of India is having a major role in the operation of the banks. Now, when we talk about the banks, nationalized banks are having the major share from the government. SBI and associates are having government share of 0.10%. The remaining is the promoters and the general public. When we talk about the private banks, the entire shareholding is held by the private people. No government investment is there. When we talk about the foreign banks are having the shares fully predominantly held by the foreign entities. They need not be an Indian, but Indian may be also an investor, but it is a foreign entity. As per the Reserve Bank of India guidelines, these foreign banks are having certain regulations which are different from the normal Indian banks. Now, once this has been the change in the shareholding pattern, and then the customers' needs are changed, the banks have shifted from brick and mortar banking to online banking. What is an online banking? Online banking is one where the bank's online transactions are different computer terminals which facilitates the brick and mortar banking operations through these terminals. So in these terminals, you are supposed to take care of your transaction password and then login ID, and as well as in the form of how to transfer the funds between the banks and how to transfer the bank and to transfer the funds within your accounts. Both the things you have to log into the website and then you have to check. Once you log into the bank's website will display you different services which are available to the customer. Now, on an online banking, once you first put your customer ID, that is the first identification part, you are the customer of the bank. Then it will ask you to provide your login ID or login password. When you are putting the login password, it will open the screens. Once it opens the screens, it has got various services in different forms. Either you want to deposit the money, or you want to take the loans, or you want to transfer the funds. If you are going to transfer the funds, where you want to transfer the funds, whether you are transferring the funds within the bank between one account to another account, both accounts are in your same name, the procedure is different. In case if you want to transfer the funds from one account to another person's account, the procedure is slightly difficult, where you have to give other credentials to the bank's website. Thirdly, you want to transfer the funds from one bank to another bank, then additional credentials are needed. Then those credentials also to be fulfilled. Then fourthly, in case you want to transfer the funds for the purpose of remitting outside India, it is furthermore difficult, and you have to abide by certain foreign exchange regulations. So that you have to fulfill, which is the bank will ask you to fulfill. So once you log into the system or log into the website, any transaction which is of simple nature, you want to transfer a minimum amount from your one account to another account, there will not be much complications. You can proceed with your login ID and the login password, and as well as the transaction password. Now, in case if you are proceeding for transferring the funds to another bank, then the bank will insist whom you are sending. To whom you are sending, those people or those beneficiaries' names, you should first get registered with the website. How to get registered with the website? You have to give the so-and-so bank and so-and-so person and so-and-so account number is the one where I wanted to transfer the funds. This you have to do in advance. At least 24 hours before you have to do this. So what you do here, you will create a beneficiary name and then beneficiary's account number and the beneficiary's bank name, and then what is the amount you wanted to transfer from time to time. If you are having a facility of every time sending 1,000 rupees, or every month you want to send only 1,000 rupees, so it will not permit you to transfer any amount more than 1,000 rupees. That once you prescribe, you cannot change that. Secondly, whatever the account number you have given, that account number should tally with the beneficiary whom you have mentioned in the other bank account. Thirdly, the bank has got an internal check through which it will check with the other bank's website whether this particular account is belonging to that bank or not, that the beneficiary whose name our customer is mentioning, whether he is your beneficiary, whether he is having an account with you, whether that account is operational or silent. This cross-checking the bank does internally. Once the bank checks all these things are bona fide, then the bank's server or the back office will enable that particular customer to register that beneficiary as a person to whom the customer can at a later date transfer the funds. So this procedure is involved, which involves additional difficulties. Now, once you register the name in this fashion, and once you mandated the bank that you are going to remit every month 1,000 rupees, or in a day you will carry out only one transaction or two transactions, they are all set. Unless and until revoke these things again, the bank will not permit you to carry out the transactions. Now, for revoking also, the bank requires some 2 to 3 hours time to make the revocation applicable in your account. So you have to provide them the time. So these are all the checks which the bank has fixed. Now, coming to this, how you want to transfer the funds to other account or other bank. There are two modes of transferring the funds. One is that NEFT. Another is RTGS. When you are sending it through NEFT, where that money will be going on a regular basis, on a regular transaction day basis, the money will be credited within 24 hours, the account will be credited in the other end. And presently, it is credited instantaneously, depending upon, as far as the bank's requirement is concerned, they have got the mandatory permission that within 24 hours they can credit. But now Reserve Bank has made the facility much more faster and the systems are working faster. Nowadays, the money is immediately credited in the at the other end. As far as RTGS is concerned, RTGS is also a similar one where the transaction involved are of very high volume and where there are additional precautions are to be taken. The bank has to take care of this particular RTGS transaction through Reserve Bank of India. NEFT is also done through Reserve Bank of India. In case of RTGS, volumes are high value transactions are being carried out, including for the investment of the banks in the securities and bonds. So this is the difference between the transfer of funds from one bank to another, or one branch to another, or one customer account to another. This is the thing. So now what has happened with the bank getting into this digital mode, the precautions are more important and the bank's customers are to be very much vigilant about what they are doing with the password, how they are transacting the business in the banks. So this is what I wanted to share with you. If any questions from the participant side, if anyone would like to discuss on anything, you are welcome. Because I particularly covered these three areas. What is basic banking? So bank earns interest and then meets their expenditures and give the profit in the form of dividends to the shareholders. In case of nationalized bank, government. In case of private bank, the shareholders other than government also. Second thing, what is the role of bank in the society? The bank's role in the society is a multiplier effect. If a money is saved in a bank, that multiplies 10 times and it facilitates various packets of society, and then they are in a position to enjoy the benefit, which I explained in the form of 9 motives in the grid. The first row is roti kapda makan, which is what is needed. So where the banks are now proceeding towards the villages and then the rural areas where the people's literacy level is low, and the bank wanted to help them for keeping the money and facilitating them. The second situation is that a person, on account of a person's living in the middle class and the upper middle class, as well as in the metro and the service sector, they are interested in increasing their investment in the form of house, vehicles, and also they are interested in meeting their commitments in the family for marriage. Thirdly, they are also interested in buying certain things for the benefit of advantages in the living society, or the conditions like washing machine or any white goods. For all these things, the base is savings, investment, and then the banks are facilitating this. This is what we have discussed in the form of role of banks in the society. Thirdly, the banks shareholding pattern is a very important thing which has taken a shift now. Previously, government was the whole and sole or the majority shareholder. Now it is shifted to the private as well as the general public. On account of the development taking place in the society in the form of digitalization, technological advancements, the banks have to shift from the brick and mortar banks to online banking. Here the online banking is nothing but the computer terminals which facilitates the brick and mortar banking at your fingertips, where there is no need for you to walk to the bank or to waste your time, and it is at ease you are able to do that. This is what we have done in the last 45 minutes, sir. If anyone of you wanted to ask something, you are welcome.
Students, you can raise your questions. Your doubts, you can clear out you can ask your doubts. Okay, Aishwarya, go on.
Whatever which is available now, I will explain to you from the slides, or else I can tell you what are the backgrounds for that, where from we can get the information.
So I've been thinking about this for like a week or something, but जो students रहते हैं जिनकी कोई मतलब ऐसे क्या बोल सकते हैं सर, जो स्टूडेंट्स रहते हैं जिनकी कोई पेमेंट नहीं रहती है, उनको सिर्फ पॉकेट मनी मिलती है, तो क्या उनके लिए भी कोई ऐसे बैंकिंग क्या बोल सकते हैं कुछ फैसिलिटीज हैं जिसमें वो इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं और उनको मतलब जैसे एक फिक्स्ड अमाउंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट आए भले ही वो कम हो?
बोलिए, एक्चुअली आपने एक स्लाइड देखा होगा, स्लाइड पे तो हमने दिखाए भी थे। आप लोग की उम्र ऐसी एवरेज एज इज 20 इयर्स, 19 to 20 इयर्स। एक स्लाइड में मैं आपको दिखाया था 5,000 रुपया हर महीना डालने से 32 इयर्स में 1 crore रुपीस बन जाती है। वैसा एक छोटी आरडी अकाउंट में आपकी जो कुछ पैसे मिलते हैं, इट शुड बी इन द राउंड अमाउंट ऑफ 100 रुपीस, 200 रुपीस। आप बैंक की कोई भी ब्रांच में रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट अकाउंट ओपन कर दीजिए। जो पैसे आपको, इसमें 2 तरीके के सुविधा रहता है। एक तो है फिक्स अमाउंट, आप फिक्स कर दीजिए, मैंने 100 रुपया हर महीना जमा करूंगा, वो 100 रुपया का आप कमिट करके जमा कीजिए। ऐसे ही एक दूसरी अकाउंट रहता है, ये 100 रुपया का 10 गुना आप ज्यादा बढ़ा सकते हैं कभी भी। मतलब इस महीना आपको 100 रुपया मिला, अगले महीना आपको 200 रुपया पैकेट में मिला, वो 200 रुपया जमा कर दीजिए। तीसरे महीने में आपको कुछ फेस्टिवल नहीं है, कुछ घर में से कुछ आपको मिला नहीं है, प्रोसेस नहीं मिला है, उस महीना नहीं जमा किया तो वो भी चलेगा। ऐसी सुविधा डिपॉजिट स्कीम है। आप वहां पे ब्रांच में जाके पूछना है, पता करना है ये कौन सी डिपॉजिट्स में ऐसी फैसिलिटीज हो सकता है। एक तो है फिक्स अमाउंट हर महीना जमा करना, दूसरा है आपको जो पैसा मिलते हैं उसको जमा करना है, बट उसके लिए क्या है, वो लमसम अमाउंट रहता है। अब 25 रुपीज, 32 रुपीज और 78 रुपीज ऐसे नहीं जमा कर सकते हैं। 100 रुपीज, 200 रुपीज, 300 रुपीज ऐसा कर सकते हैं। और कुछ राउंड लमसम अमाउंट में आप जमा करने से क्या होगा, बैंक में वो फैसिलिटी के रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट आपको मिलेगा। रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट पे क्या फायदा रहता है? इंटरेस्ट के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट मिलती है। आपको मैंने पहले बताया था 5 साल का 100 रुपया आप डिपॉजिट करोगे, 5 रुपया 5% इंटरेस्ट रेट में कितना मिलती है? दूसरी वही 100 रुपया 5 इयर्स में आपको कंपाउंडिंग डिपॉजिट में आप जमा करने से कितने रुपया मिलते हैं? दोनों के डिफरेंस बताया है। इसमें 25 रुपीज मिलता है, उसमें 28 रुपीज मिलता है, 3 रुपया ज्यादा मिलती है। वैसे आप रिकरिंग डिपॉजिट में ज्यादा ही मिलेगा हमेशा, या आपके हिसाब से आप कर सकते हैं। And this is the appropriate age where you should think about saving the money, whatever you get. Anything else? Am I clear to you? Am I clear to you? I don't know who has asked the question because I'm not getting the full screen.
Aishwarya Vaswani, sir.
Okay, Aishwarya, was it clear to you?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anything else?
Okay, anyone want to ask any questions? They want to raise their queries? I think so, Harshita, we can proceed for the next.
Pranay ji, one last word I would like to share with the participants. See,
sure, sir. Please, sir. You can do it.
Can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. See, your authorities requested me while discussing something about how we can go to the bank, how you can get the loans, what type of loans you are entitled to. These are all certain things which are involving lot of information, lot of input to you. Within this short span of time, we cannot dwell on that. We cannot proceed in those areas. So that's why I'm touching only peripheral areas and explaining to you. Second thing is that there are the information, whatever I have shared with you, these are all available in public domain, which is available in the RBI websites also. If you are in a position to access to it and go through it, certain additional information enriching you in these areas you will get. This is what I wanted to share with you. Then on my personal behalf, I thank all the people, the participants who have been attending this program, as well as our DRB Sindhu Mahavidyalaya staff members, principal, and the seniors. Thank you very much. If anything else, Pranay ji, can I share?
Hello.
Sir, we would love to.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
Tell me.
So as you know, we are students. So as you mentioned that there's a interest rate of return rate of 7%. According to that, how much and for how long should we invest?
See, it's all. Again you go back to that that grid.
Yeah.
9 motives. So the first level, if you are already through, you are from a well off, roti kapda makan, you don't need anything from that angle. So generally people will aspire to go for housing in the first level when you talk about. So when you are going for housing, you have to save for a long time. If you are only going for the second level, or you are having a marriage in the family in the next 2 years time, and it is a short span. So for that, you need a saving plan where in the 2 years you are able to meet out this. So you have to work out what is your need, what is your plan. Depending upon the plan and the need, you can chalk out your investment. So if you take 7% is the rate of interest, if your personal need is immediately in the next 2 years or 3 years, you wanted to have one 4-wheeler or 2-wheeler for your commuting purpose, you know the cost of the 2-wheeler. The cost of the 2-wheeler is some 60 to 70,000 is the cost. So you must have some 25% of the cost, at least 50 to 25% of the cost your saving amount. Once you have this 25%, so you can plan your recurring deposit or whatever type of deposit you are having. So that what is the 25% of the 60 is 15,000 rupees. So if you are reaching this 15,000 rupees through a deposit scheme, by the end of the time, you can go and tell the bank, I'm having this 15,000 rupees as my margin. I need this vehicle. Why don't you finance me? So this finance is available to you. You get the assets, and then bank gives you in the form of loan. Then there is a nominal interest rate which is to be paid in the form of EMI or installments. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So you have to just to see what is your need.
Okay.
Need analysis is a must.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else have got experience? They have gone to the bank, and then the bank has been able to provide them some good services, and they are very happy with that. Anybody is aspiring to be a banker? My mail ID is available with the bank, your college authorities, and you can always communicate to me whatever way you want the clarification from me. I can send you in the email also.
Okay, Harshita, you can. For sure, sir, I'll be sharing your email ID with my students. No worries.
Okay, it's very great of you, Pranay.
Okay,
Pranay,
Harshita,
was it meeting your requirements? Whatever we could spend time in the last 1 hour.
Yes. Hello, sir. I'm not getting you.
See, whatever we were discussing on 3 important topics, we just discussed only about the basic things. Was it in tune with, because I sent you the questionnaire to find out what was the need of.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Without any doubts.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Harshita? Am I audible? Okay, now Bharat, you can come with your vote of thanks.
Okay, sir. I'm audible, sir?
Yes, audible.
Yes.
A very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks. I, Bharat Kumar Reddy, student of BBA first year, on behalf of Dada Ramchand, Bakhru, Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, and entire fraternity of the institute, extend the vote of thanks. A very hearty thanks to a chief guest, Shri V. Subramanian sir, who spent his time from the busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir, for your graceful thought, and this will be definitely encourage us in our future events. Your thoughts have enlightened our mind and have shown a new path. I also thank our Noble Management Committee, Honorable Shri H.R. Bakhru sir, President, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, Honorable Dr. Vinki Rogwani sir, Chairman, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, Dr. I.P. Keswani sir, General Secretary, Sindhi Hindi Vidya Samiti, and my most sincere thanks to our Principal, Dr. S.P. Kasbekar sir, Vice Principal, Dr. Satish Tewani sir, and Dr. Anand Thadani sir. I am immensely thankful to our motivator, Mr. Pranay Wankhede sir, HOD Department of Management, and our course coordinator, Ms. Poorvi Tiwari ma'am, and organizing team, Dr. Suman Keswani ma'am, Dr. Trupti Sakre ma'am, and Mr. Pranay Deepak Ghani sir. A very sincere gratitude to all our listeners. Thank you for listening so patiently. We have arrived where we began. A big thank you to each and everyone for making this guest lecture on banking a successful one. Thank you, sir.
Can we wind up? Thank you, Pranay, and all the staff members.
Thank you so much.